Welcome to the first part of Exploration and Discovery Online Notes. We're going to be going through the Exploration and Discovery PowerPoint. Remember that you can stop and start and pause and rewind the video at any point. Now, when we start talking about exploration, it's happening at the same time as the Renaissance and the Reformation and all of that. So these events are overlapping each other. We've got a couple reasons for exploration. We need new trade routes to Asia, okay, to get the spices and the perfume and silk, because the Ottoman Empire has closed off the Silk Road. So they've charged higher taxes, which means it costs more money, and we want to find a new trade route to have cheaper goods. Second reason is discovery. We want to learn about the world. We want to know whether there are monsters in the ocean, or if you fall off the edge of the earth if you sail too far. Okay, so if you look at the map on the next slide, think about how the red line is the Silk Road, and Constantinople is that point on the Silk Road. And so if prices are raised, what are the Europeans going to do to get all of the goods from Asia that they want? Well, you've got two options. You can go around Africa, okay, but that might take a while. But if you think of this map, instead of it flat being a circle, okay, just like you would curl up the edges of the map, and the Songhai Empire would touch Japan on the backside, well, wouldn't it make sense that you can just go west and automatically reach Japan and the Philippines? That's what they're thinking. They don't realize there's something blocking the way. So they think that they can just sail west and get to Asia that way. Another reason is we have competition between countries. Oh, sorry, hang on one sec. We'll go back to that why sail west. Write down something about the two reasons why they think sailing west will work, why they want to do it, and the other possible route they could take. So number 3 is going to be competition between countries. When Spain starts exploring, then Portugal is going to want to keep up, and then France is going to want to get into the game, and then England and the Netherlands and all of these guys. We're going to have the spread of the Christian religion and to stop the expansion of Islam. Okay, both religions are evangelist, which means they both want to spread, and so they want to keep going spreading. All right, we also have a lot of new technology that's going to help us travel further and faster that we're going to go over in a minute. But the way to sum all of these up, okay, and this is not all-encompassing, but the way to help remember them is the 3 G's: God, glory, and gold. By God, we mean converting natives to Christianity. By glory, we mean fame or being the best, or that idea of competition. And then gold, we mean the money and trade that you get from these new routes to Asia. So what are the new technologies? Well, we have the first thing is a caravel, which is a boat. It's a much more sturdy ship. It can sail into the wind as opposed with just going with the wind, which means you can travel in more directions than just with the wind. We also have a compass, which is going to help us determine which direction we're going, so that way if the tide is pushing you, you can continue to go west. We're going to have something called an Astrolabe. The Astrolabe helps you determine latitude and where you are on Earth to make sure that you're following the same latitude by looking at a star in the horizon and measuring the angles and using geometry. We're going to see more hourglasses to help keep time on board ships. We're going to see bigger and better and more reliable hourglasses as well. We're going to see better maps in the beginning of the idea about latitude, so you know where you're going on the map and how to get there and when to get there. We're going to see some better crews. We get new navigation schools, so people actually know how to run the ship rather than just thinking, oh, well, I guess I'll put up the sail now. We also see new sails, okay, new shapes and sizes that help catch the wind and help us travel faster. And then we also get rudders to help direct the ships. Rather than just hoping that the wind will take you where you want to go, we're going to have rudders that can steer you with or against the wind. So the important thing to remember with all of these things of new technology that you should write by the side is that we're getting bigger, faster, more reliable ships, which means we can travel further distances. And that leads us to the people who are traveling. So from Portugal, we have some very important people. Prince Henry the Navigator is a second son of the king. He won't become king, so he is an early explorer to the north coast of Africa. He is a cartographer or a map maker, and he opens a navigation school to teach the ship crews how to navigate. We also have Bartholomew Diaz. He's going to be the first to reach the Cape of Good Hope, which is at the southernmost point of... So make sure you write down that the Cape of Good Hope is the southernmost point of Africa. Vasco da Gama is then going to take the route that Diaz sailed and continue it all the way to India. So the way to remember Vasco da Gama is if you look at the map and you remember that his first name starts with the letter V, from Portugal down around the southernmost point of Africa and up to India is going to make a V. Okay, follow this green line. It's not great on here, but think of that V. The red line is going to be Diaz down to the Cape of Good Hope at the southernmost point of Africa. So how big is Africa? You're probably wondering, and if you look, the United States fits approximately 3 times in Africa. So it's a really big continent. Okay, North America would probably fit in twice. And then lastly, and he's not on your notes, so you need to add him, but from Portugal is Ferdinand Magellan. He is the first credited with circumnavigation of the Earth. That means going all the way around the Earth. However, he dies in the Philippines, which you can see pointed out on the map and why we had to learn it earlier. And he's going to be the first to cross the Pacific Ocean. But even though he died in the Philippines and didn't complete the voyage, his crew did, he's still given credit for the first circumnavigation of the world. Now from Spain, we have a couple other people. We have Christopher Columbus, who is an Italian, but he discovers the Western Hemisphere by sailing west for Ferdinand and Isabella. And then we have our conquistadors, Hernando Cortez, who conquers the Aztecs, and Francisco Pizarro, who conquers the Incans. Now, if you download this PowerPoint from Blackboard, you can click on the links and actually watch the videos that are linked on YouTube. Columbus is going to sail to the New World on 4 different trips. Okay, if you notice, he reaches Cuba and La Española, which is Haiti and the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and South America, but he never actually touches North America. He never touches Florida, okay, or the continental United States. So that's something to remember. He discovers the Western Hemisphere, but not America per se. We also have Cortez up here in the corner, arriving in Cuba and then sailing over to Tenochtitlan to take over the Aztecs. And Pizarro goes through Panama down into Lima and Cuzco, the capital of the Incan Empire. Now, take a second to stop the video and read through this and think about how to describe what words would you use to describe this passage. Okay. How does Christopher Columbus react to the natives? And then moving on, we have from France, Jacques Cartier is going to discover and claim New France, also known as Canada. Samuel de Champlain is going to found some trading posts, most notably Quebec, that still exists today, and they still speak French there. Here's a map of Cartier's voyage. Okay, down in the corner, left corner, you can see Massachusetts sticking out into the ocean. Okay, then Newfoundland is the huge island up to the upper right that he sails around, and the St. Lawrence River is one of the main areas of where he sails and discovers. For the Netherlands, we have Henry Hudson. He is an Englishman who is serving the Dutch. He's going to found the Hudson River, are part of New York that was just hit by Hurricane Sandy, Hudson Bay, which is up above Canada, and Hudson Strait, which is also above Canada. From England, you also need to add this to your notes, maybe at the very bottom of the page or over to the side. We're going to have John Cabot, who discovers and claims Canada. Now, if you think back to 3 slides ago, what's the problem? France already claimed Canada. So we're going to have some conflict between France and England over who claims Canada. We're also going to have Sir Francis Drake, who successfully sails around the world. However, let's add that he is second, so that we remember that Magellan was first. And last but not least, we've already met this guy, but from China we're going to have Zheng He, who leads the 7 voyages. Now in your notes it asks you to write down 5 things that you notice when you watch the video. So download this PowerPoint, or I'll post this link on Blackboard, and watch the video about Zheng He. What are some of the things that you notice, that you learn about his trips? There are some pretty incredible things. Look out for the unicorns. So to finish this off, some effects of exploration. Number one is that China and Japan become isolated. They close off from Western influences. They're willing to trade with each other, but not with the Europeans. We're going to see lots of trading posts established, especially in India, as trade increases and we get new routes. We're also going to have trading posts established over in the Caribbean and in South America. Here's a map that shows you we've got the trip of Vasco da Gama and Diaz, and you can see how they're starting to put little trading posts along the coast of Africa and along the coast of India. Eventually, India will become weakened, our Mughal Empire, which will allow the British to take over. And Africa is going to be remaining on the coast because, well, it's jungle on the inside. It doesn't really help out for invasions. So Africa has the coast. We're also going to see the demise or the destruction of the Aztec and Incan empires. Remember who's responsible for this. You need to know who leads the expeditions against them. We're going to see territory claimed. Okay, Spain is going to claim a bunch of territory, and the Portuguese are going to claim Brazil, and so they are going to end up fighting over land. Now, when they fight, they go to the Pope, and the Pope says, we're taking a line of longitude and setting it right down. So let me insert a line for you. And so what happens is the Pope says, we're going to draw this line. And it's really faint. Let me make that bigger. And from this line, Portugal gets to the east, Spain gets approximately to the west, no more fighting. And this is the Treaty of Tordesillas. Okay, so that splits Portugal to the east, Spain to the west. That's why Brazil speaks Portugal today and Peru speaks Spanish. And then lastly, we're going to have a lot of cultural diffusion. Okay, we're going to see guns transported to Africa and Asia, guns that they had never seen before. That's going to change the culture there. We're going to see religions transported. Our conquistadors are going to bring Catholicism to the New World, to the Americas. The English are going to bring Anglicanism over when they establish the 13 colonies. We're going to see languages spread. That's why Brazil speaks Portuguese. That's why in India, a lot of them end up speaking English from the British. We're going to see Mexico speaking Spanish, Bolivia speaking Spanish, Chile speaking Spanish. And in America, or the 13 colonies, they're going to speak English. Okay, so this leads us into our future effects that we will talk about with colonization in our next notes section. Enjoy.